Hello.
We're here to talk about the film. I must say I was impressed with it. I mean, it's very intense.
Yeah.
How do you look at it now? I mean,
Well, I'm kind of tired of looking at it at this point because I've seen it so many times. But I'm really happy with the way it came out.
do we see the real Madonna in this movie?
That's for you to decide.
Okay, I'll come back to that later. This is a new look. Is this a new chapter in your life?
My chapters in my life don't begin with the color of my hair, per se. I suppose it's really a new chapter in my life because now I'm finally finished with the movie. Finished because the movie started really with the rehearsals for my show and putting my show together, and then we went on the tour and we filmed it, and then for months and months and months since we were finished, we edited the movie, put it together. You know, now it's out, and this is kind of my farewell to it. So now, in that sense, it's a new chapter.
Any ground rules between you and Alec Assission when you started the project?
That he should film what he thought, what he wanted to film, really. There were no rules to film, and that he must... I wanted him to capture life on the road, so it was no holds barred, you know, that's it. Whatever he thought was going to be revealing or telling the story of what life is, to really capture what happens.
She's the executive producer of this movie.
So I can imagine she was the boss.
She was, in so much as any time a director makes a movie, somebody finances the movie. I was fortunate that my boss, if that's what you want to call her, gave me final cut. And she stuck by that word, and she never interfered. If anything, Madonna was the one who protected me from the studios that then picked the movie up. So when those studios would call and say, you should take this out, it might be a little too much, you should take... I would call Madonna and say, they're on my back to take these things out. And Madonna would call and say, leave him alone. So I was fortunate to have Madonna on my side. And I was more fortunate than that she stood by her word to me. When I took the project on, I asked for final cut, and she stood by that. But, you know, it never even got to that issue, because there was never something we fought about. There was never a point where I had to tell my lawyers, show her this, because she promised me final cut. We just didn't disagree.
Concertfilm van te maken?
Yeah, originally, yeah. And then we decided to change the focus.
But how did that happen? Did you ask Alec? Did Alec ask you?
I asked Alec. Yeah. I mean, what happened is I asked Alec to film the concert and just film some backstage stuff just to kind of put in so you get the idea that we're in different cities and all that stuff. But then I thought, we started looking at all the backstage stuff, and it was really interesting, and I was crazy about the people I was working with and fascinated by the relationships that were developing and stuff. So we were looking at the footage in Japan when we began to shoot, and I just said, Alec, isn't this great? And he agreed and said, well, let's concentrate on this. And he loved it, loved the idea of that. So, but he said, okay, but if we're going to do that, then you must let me film anything I want. I mean, did I always want to be a star? I don't know if it's a star that I wanted to be. I suppose when I was a child, I wanted to be loved, recognized, appreciated, you know, those kind of things. I probably just needed more love and recognition than most people.
And you didn't get it at the time?
Well, no, not when I was a child. No, I didn't.
Is that the sad part of your life? I mean, I always feel it when I listen to your songs, even the most happy ones. You always feel a sort of sadness, like...
Yes, well, I do have sadness in my life, yeah. I'm trying to overcome it through my songs or my work, yeah.
And the way you show yourself to the audience, is that also part of get away from this sadness?
Well, my sadness is a part of me, like my happiness. I mean, it's part of my emotional makeup. And I can't help but show that side of me in my performances, you know, and my music or whatever. I mean, it's there.
Right, but it's not the reason why you're an artist like you are.
I'm an artist because, I mean, I don't know that anyone knows exactly why they're an artist. I think it's... I don't think you can explain it. I think if you're an artist, you're an artist. It's something intrinsic inside of you something that you must do. If you stop to explain it, if you think then it kills it. You know, it's spontaneous.
A lot of girls like to be Madonna. I mean, you see copies all around. But when I look at this picture, I got the feeling I never want to be Madonna. You know, the life you're living is so difficult.
I wouldn't wish my life on anybody.
Especially not what part. What do you mean by that?
It's a lot of hard work. I mean, if I want to live this life, I mean, it's difficult for me to travel around without being recognized, and as you can see, to put a show on like I did on my last tour, to have everything be right. The bigger you want to do things, the more of a perfectionist you are, that you have to work 24 hours a day. It's very difficult.
But it's a lonely life too. I think.
Can be, yes. It can be a lonely life because it takes up so much of your time and concentration.
But what I see is that you were on tour with the whole group, and it's one big family, and they all go away and have their own careers, and here you are alone.
Yes, but I've stayed in touch with those people, and they're still a part of my family, and I'm also pretty good friends with most of the people I work with anyway. In general, I always like to work with people I really like. So I feel that I'm surrounded by friends. It was a real thrill. It was great. I felt like I was going to be crowned or something.
But does it match with anything in the music world?
It's a kind of the same rush you get when you walk out into a stage and there's 50,000 people screaming. It's good. It's great. It's a real adrenaline rush.
But when I see you walking here in Cannes at parties, or when you go out, there's always a bunch of security people around you.
Well,
even if you want to say hello to somebody you know.
But that's only at the Cannes Film Festival. It's not that way when I'm at home.
You can go out in New York or in LA. Just
I can. I do go out, and sometimes people follow me. If I go to like a movie opening or some big event, I have security with me. But I like to go out with just my friends, drive my own car. Yeah. Well, it was very easy with Susan Seidelman because everything was so new for me. I can surrender control to people when I feel comfortable with them, when I completely understand what's going on, and I feel comfortable. And I think that's the essence of any performance in front of the camera. I think if you feel comfortable, then you trust, then you can be real.
What have you thought about your movie career so far? Have you been satisfied by it?
No, I haven't, and truthfully, I haven't really spent enough time to and taken enough interest in my film career as I should have. But, you know, I was very busy with my music career, and right now I plan on spending more time concentrating on movies.
But could this documentary, Truth or Dare, in Bed with Madonna, be a sort of bridge to the revival of that career?
This documentary and everything else I'm working on, yeah.
And thank you all for coming. Hi.
You were great.
Thank
you. You
you.
were great. Thanks for having us. That was really
sure.
generous.
Thanks for coming.
We thought it was neat. You know?
Neat?
Really neat, yeah.
No one's ever described it quite that way. Hi.
Yeah,
Hi.
okay. Have fun tonight. Well, I don't think we'll be making that other deal.
Oh, really? Not
Yeah.
neat enough for you?
Not not quite. We got to put the kids. We got to get with the kids.
Okay.
I'm gonna give them this.
All right. Thanks.
God bless.
For coming.
Thanks.
Neat? Anybody who says my show is neat has to go.
I think Kevin Costner will see it and laugh because I think it's a joke, and I don't know if Warren would ever see it, and if he did, I don't know if he would ever tell me what he thought. So.
Vorige week spraken we Kevin Costner over zijn nieuwe film Robin Hood. Natuurlijk bracht hij het onderwerp Madonna naar voren.
You appeared in another movie this year, Madonna's movie. Are you happy with that?
No, you want to talk about something else?
You want me to ask another question?
Yeah.
Okay.
The strange thing with the image and the career you're having is that women idolize you, but there are also a lot of women who don't understand anything of what you're doing. Is that? Are
They're
you aware of
frightened
that?
by me.
Yeah. Are they?
Yes. I would think so, yeah.
Do you frighten them?
I don't know. You tell me.
Uh-huh.
I think if people are frightened by what I do or what I say or what I stand for, it's because they're frightened about what the feelings they have inside. I mean, I'm not saying you have to like me or agree with me. But if you're afraid of me, then you're afraid of what I make you feel. I don't know a lot about it myself except my own part. He's very mysterious. So yeah, I play an acrobat, but you never see me doing any of that stuff. I'm part of a circus.
Madonna om zichzelf zo op het witte doek terug te zien.
I think I was mostly surprised by how maternal I was with everybody, because I'd never think of myself that way. You know, all the other stuff I know I'm very demanding and very much running the show and the boss and all, and, you know, in charge. I knew all that stuff, but that part was a surprise. Really watching the footage from the very beginning was really educational for me about my own, you know, psychosis, whatever, you know, my own mental, emotional state, my own needs.